What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe. No Days Off DFS here to bring you guys that DFS breakdown for the massive 11-game slate over here on DraftKings. Big slate. It's actually 14 games, but luckily DraftKings, they decided to give us 11 games, and you guys already know I'm going to go ahead and break that down. 50K up top for first place. But before I even get into that, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, because as you guys can see, I am dropping nuggets over here on the shorts over here. I've talked about it many times. I am posting my FanDuel and my DraftKings slips up over here for you guys on the shorts. That's where I normally post these up at, typically about an hour or so before lock, things like that. But if you want this stuff before I even put it up there, definitely check out the link down in the description below for the Patreon. You guys are getting not only my stuff, but my boy BK. And as you guys can see, we have some winners over here on DraftKings and stuff for the NFL over the weekend. Definitely I'm posting my builders, I'm posting my louders over here for the DFS sites, FanDuel and DraftKings. Gonna try to get back to Prize Picks, but again, I'm a little bit sour with Prize Picks. I'm really not liking it, especially when I was trying to make NFL lines on a Sunday and there was no options to just get regular lines. It was a lot of either demons or goblins, and I'm not really liking too much on Prize Picks right now because they have it's shifted drastically. So bear with me as I figure that out over there on Prize Picks, but still definitely dropping you guys some nuggets over there for FanDuel, DraftKings, and I'm gonna try to get more betting sites added to the repertoire. But getting into today's slate, because it is huge, it is massive. We have a huge injury report to go over for all 11 games. Real quick, gonna go through that. Utah Jazz, John Collins, game time decision. Keontae George, game time. We definitely want to know if those two are going to be in or out. If they're out, then of course we're going to see some boosts to some players that we put into the starting lineup. Maybe Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen. Those guys will get a boost right there. Over here on the Cleveland side, Sam Morrell, he's still a game time decision. Maybe out, maybe not. He's off the bench, so we definitely want to know if he's going to be in or out. For the Boston Celtics, really not too worried about it. Sam Hauser, he's a bench rotation piece, but the main guys are going to be in. For Orlando, Suggs, he's the big key piece over here for them, because if he's out or going to be limited, I know he tweaked his ankle going up against the Thunder the other day, then definitely we might see a bigger boost for Cole Anthony in regards to that. Might start something like that for them. San Antonio Spurs, nothing to report. Philly, don't got to worry about them. I'm not too worried about that. I mean, biggest thing for them is McCain. He's going to be out, but nothing really to worry about. For Houston, Tari Eason, we do want to know if he's going to be in or out. He is a key bench rotation piece for them. Brings a lot of energy. For the Charlotte Hornets, Trey Mann, Brandon Miller, they are out. LaMelo Ball, he is back today, so we got that news. For the Minnesota Timberpups, nothing that we got to worry about over here for them. Atlanta, Trae Young, I expect for him to be back today. Bogdan, not too sure about that one, but definitely want to check to make sure that those guys are going to be in. For the Brooklyn Nets, we have DFS, he is a game time decision. Want to know about that. Cam Thomas, Wofford, all those guys are going to be out. Miami, Kevin Love, expected to play Jimmy Butler. I know he's sick. He left the Thunder game with the illness. Still no word on that. Definitely want to know if he's going to be in or out. More than likely, I think he's really being held out for trade talks, because he is in the trade rumor mill currently right now. So definitely the one that we want to pay attention to if Jimmy's going to be in or out, because if he's going to be out, then we're going to see definitely a shift in rotation in regards to the starting pieces that they have right there. For the Toronto Raptors, RJ Barrett, he missed last game, but I expect that was just to hold him out because they are on the back end of a back-to-back. Jakob game time decision. Do want to know if he's going to be in or out. Not like it's going to matter, because going up against Karl Anthony Towns, really don't think that Podol is going to be your solution, or Kevin Love, or Watford, or whoever the heck else you bring over there for them. New York Knicks, nothing to report over there for them. Milwaukee, Chris Middleton expected to play. Giannis, game time decision. I expect Giannis to play as well. For the Chicago Bulls, Josh Giddey, game time decision. Do need to know he did suffer ankle injury the other day. That's pretty big for him. For Washington, taking on my OKC Thunder, Koulibaly, game time decision. Might play 50-50 on that one. OKC Thunder, nothing to worry about for us. Los Angeles Clippers, nothing to worry about for them. Memphis Grizzlies, nothing to worry about for them. Ja, he's expected to be back. Desmond Bane actually did just pop up on the injury report, so that is something to worry about. Late-ish news, so midday over here for me, 10:24. So maybe we might be without Desmond Bane, but if Bane's going to be out, then I would expect more uses for, of course, Ja, Jaren Jackson Jr., things like that and that sort. This should be a kind of grinded out, tough matchup right here, I would expect for that game. Portland, no news to really report for them. Not worried about those bench pieces. Dallas, we do need to know if Luka's going to be in or out. If Luka's out, then again, of course, all that usage falls to Kyrie, Clay, PJ Washington, Derek Lively, who's been having some pretty great games, and I really do like his price tag and where he's at today, going up against those guys. And that's going to be it for the main slate over here on DraftKings. If you guys want something for this later stuff right here, maybe I could put out a second video if I get some engagement inside the comment section. One person, just one person. That's it. I'm a small channel. I really don't care. I'm not doing too much. Chilling on the holidays, just vibing. So if you guys want that, that, just let me know down in the comment section. I will definitely go ahead and deliver. And I will actually have a core posted in the comment section for you guys, along with it being up on the Patreon. I did see the comments. I was not able to last video just simply because I was cooking dinner at the time. I had already had everything locked, wasn't too worried about anything, and I missed it. I am sorry. I do apologize. I am human, but I will make sure I have that for you guys today. Heading over to DraftKings, the site that I play the most on the site. If you guys don't have an account, you want one, make sure you guys check that link down in the description for that deposit match bonus and join your boy over here on the King. Starting out with the Houston Rockets taking on the Charlotte Hornets. This game right here, straight up gate, I'll say Charlotte, they've been playing much better defense over the last several games. Definitely have been keeping games somewhat close, especially with LaMelo Ball being back. Miles Bridges getting kind of into a groove, things like that. But they are going up against the number 2 defense in the Houston Rockets. Now, looking over here, I will still say LaMelo Ball kind of will be one of those players I say kind of is matchup proof. Don't mind looking at Melo. As you see, 34 minutes in his last game playing against Washington, 69 fantasy points. If he's going to go out there and chuck 32 shots, definitely, I'm not going to hit it, not going to mind it at all. If they want to stay in this game, it is going to be on the back of Melo, especially with no Brandon Miller. He's not going to be out there. I do still think this is going to be a tougher matchup. Now, Houston is on the back end of a back-to-back. They are playing again tonight. They just recently played last night going up against the Toronto Raptors. So they're flying all the way from up in Toronto, coming all the way down here to Charlotte. Could be some tired legs. Really could be, especially flying from all the way up there. So definitely something to keep an eye on. I will say the last Houston Rockets and Charlotte Hornet game that I went to, the game actually, it was pretty decent in regards to being close. So definitely do think that Charlotte Hornets coming off some rest, they possibly could, especially when you have LaMelo Ball out there. Again, tired legs, that could be something for them. Now, if I am looking at anything over here for the Houston Rockets, I will say defensive upside just for the turnovers, things like that. Dylan Brooks, the guy goes out there, he plays hard. He plays defense, balling in his last 2 games, sitting at 5K. Definitely someone that piques my interest. I don't mind looking at him right here at that 5K price tag and looking at what he's done going up against Charlotte Hornets. Earlier this season, he played 31 minutes going up against them. Not 31 minutes. He did play 31 minutes going up against them. He only had nothing in regards to fantasy points going up against him. So definitely could be a spot where we might be able to see him bounce back right here. But I will say everyone from the Houston Rockets, I'm not too heavily interested in them. Just Dylan Brooks, he's on a roll right now. So definitely be someone I would take an eye out for. And then of course LaMelo Ball, like I said, on the other side, that would pretty much be it for me over there for the Charlotte Hornets. Going over to Utah taking on Cleveland, another game where it's like so 11 game slate, we are gonna have to cross some games out. You know, there is, of course, blowout risk, things like that with some of these games. And you have to really just pick and choose because it is a huge slate. You have to break it down, make it into a smaller slate. That's really the key to these things right here. Again, in this game, we are going to want to pay attention to the news for whether or not if Keontae George is going to be in, and same thing for John Collins. If they're going to be out, then, of course, like I said, that usage is going to be able to shift to players like Larkin, Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson. He should be inserted into the starting lineup, things like that. Now, outside of that, on the Cleveland side, real quick, the focus, main plays that I'll be looking over here for Cleveland is going to be Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, of course. Garland, GPP option. Definitely, again, he has a mixing, just a pot of what he can actually go out there and give you. 42.25 fantasy points going up against Philly, 31 going up against Milwaukee, 22 going up against Brooklyn. So very much up and down. And just look at his minutes: 26, 25, 24, 33, 32. Again, just not too sure what I'm going to get from Garland. I will say I would much rather play Evan Mobley. I know 2 different positions, but I would rather go up here and get Mobley. And then if Sam Merrill, if he's going to be out, or if he's going to be limited, anything of the sort, he did play in that last game going up against Philly. So definitely just pay attention to that news right there. If he's going to be out or something like that, I do think that's going to give a boost to players off the bench, just like Nang, Strus, and then Dean Wade, who has been playing and carving out a pretty decent role for himself. 25 minutes going up against Philly, 19 fantasy points. We do see that he has a 30 burger in here going up against Milwaukee in 21 minutes. If he hits those shots, pretty much him, Sam Merrill, they come off the bench, they're out there to go ahead and hit those shots, play a little bit of defense. That would be a value play that I can look to today, especially if Sam Merrill's going to be out, limited, or anything like that. On the Utah side, again, that news is just the news that we have to get. I will say a sneaky spot or someone that should be under owned, especially the last time that he went out there, Walker Kessler. If there is no John Collins, rebound upside could possibly be there for him. I know he is going up against Twin Towers in Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, but dude is decent in regards to giving us a fantasy point per minute whenever he is out there, if he can keep himself out of foul trouble. Last time out there, I swear, he hooked my play on FanDuel for rebounds just because he simply got into foul trouble. Like that's just it. But Walker Kessler 6100 definitely be a play that I would consider and look to for him. I know it is a tough matchup, so definitely something to consider right there. Then outside of that, Jordan Clarkson, he would be the other one I would have to have some interest in, especially if those other players are going to be out or missing on today. Boston going up against Orlando, I'm going to be very honest. I have no interest in anybody from this game. This is going to be one of those games for me that I'm going to cross off. Jason Tatum, way too pricey. The Magic, they could keep this game close. I mean, we just seen them come back from like a 20-something deficit, going up against, who did they play in that last game, actually? Because I just remember just seeing it being plastered and posted everywhere. But Magic, they played going against Miami. They just came down from being a huge deficit, took it to overtime, and then even won the game. So, again, for me, I'm fading it. I really don't like this game. If I was to take some pieces, maybe you can mess with a Goga off the bench. I mean, not off the bench. Goga would be someone you might be able to mess with. Derek White, I like his price right there. Peyton Pritchard's off the bench, someone like that. These lower tier plays, not anyone up here at the high side. I really don't like that right there for them. San Antonio Spurs going up against 76ers. I will say Wemby Wemby's playing good. 66, 70, 56, 52, 46. He's looking like he's in form again, checking up a bunch of threes out there. But the block upside that we're going to get, matchup going up against Embiid, block upside, that's going to be it. He's literally way bigger than Embiid. The length that he has, Embiid tries to get some of those crazy shots, things like that he always does. I can definitely see Wemby being able to go out here and get another 5+ block game for himself out here going up against them. I will say for me, on Philly side specifically, besides looking at Wemby, which would be the main play that I want to get from over here, if I was taking anything on the San Antonio Spurs, everyone else is just like, I don't have any true interest in them. But I will say Paul George coming off of a stinker, a very bad game going up against Cleveland. But again, that is a tough defense for him to go up against. 19.75 fantasy points after he was kind of getting into groove. 32, 58, 37 fantasy points, 8,200. He is still a perennial all-star player. I definitely can still look at him. 8,200. I definitely wouldn't mind looking there. And then Kelly Oubre Jr. I do actually think that his spot here is going to be pretty decent for him as well. 6,100. He's been playing very good in a pretty good groove outside of going up against Cleveland. Again, bounce back spot for him. The shot should be there. The defensive upside that he has as well, rebounding, all those things. I don't mind looking at Kelly O right here as well as another possible play. First, go ahead and get to. I do believe the upside is there. And then the last time he did play going up against, granted, this was last season, he did go out there and drop 40+ fantasy points going up against them last year in this matchup. But opposing to and small force going up against them, we just seen Shaedon Sharpe go out there, drop 31.75 fantasy points going up against them. Anthony Edwards, he popped for 36 going versus them. CJ McCollum 32, Malik Monk 42. So definitely, if Kelly O's shot is falling between him and Paul George, those would be the main two I would look to. And then I don't mind actually taking in this game. Minnesota taking on Atlanta. This one should be possibly a good game. Atlanta, they're playing pretty good, especially if they have Trae Young back out there. I could just see literally the pick and roll for Trae, just being able to get Rudy in that drop coverage that he loves to play, and just allowing Trae to feast in the spot right here. I would imagine maybe some Jaden McDaniels on him or something like that, but Mike Conley's not going to be able to stick with him. Anthony Edwards, he's having to do so much on the offensive side. Defense is kind of lacking. Definitely after seeing some interviews and things like that, I know that the Timberwolves, they are pretty frustrated because they're not getting foul calls and things like that. So hopefully this team comes out with a little bit of a chip on the shoulder and actually does make this a game. Could be a pretty good game for them though. But long as Trae Young is in, I do like the upside for a lot of the players over here on Atlanta. I will say primarily for me, I really do want to take players from the Minnesota side because Anthony Edwards, like I said, those interviews, 8,700 for this dude that can go out here and drop 50+ fantasy points. Love the upside for Ant in this matchup. Don't think Dyson Daniels will be able to slow him down too much in this spot. And Ant, you know, between him, Trae, they are shit talkers. They'll go out there, they talk that talk, they try to walk that walk. And then of course we have seen opposing twos actually have pretty decent games going up against Atlanta. Desmond Bane just dropped 50.25 fantasy points. Vassell dropped 37 fantasy points. Braum on the Nuggets, he went out there, he dropped 39 fantasy points going up against them. So Ant, the player that takes a ton of 3-point shots. One of the plays that I normally do take on the books is if I'm building like a pretty safe parlay for me, just because Ant takes so many threes, I take him for at least 2 threes, and typically that's at least by like a -3 or -400-ish odds right there, and definitely gets you towards that plus money if you're pairing up with like 2 other plays or something like that. So Anthony Edwards, I do like the upside for him. If you could take that over on shit picks, if you're looking for something like that you want to take, I know it should be a goblin, would be Anthony Edwards for like 1.5 or 2.5 threes. Definitely would be teetering if you do take 2.5 threes, but you could take him for his 3-point attempts, especially in this matchup spot. If they got him at like, I say 7.5 would be a safe play to go ahead and take Anthony Edwards for his over in regards to that 4 3-point attempts right there. Outside of that, besides Anthony Edwards, I will say Rudy Gobert, this definitely should be a bounce back spot for him. Rebound just because Hawks do take a ton of threes. Minnesota, they take a good chunk of threes right there. Definitely the block upside could be there for him going up against smaller centers in Clint Capella and also in Precious. No, not Precious. Jesus, what is his name? Centers. Oh. Actually, Oneko Kamu's out, so don't even have to worry about him. It would be Larry Nance Jr. Getting some of that backup run right there, which I actually like. Larry, he can actually stretch the floor, things like that. Last game for him, going up against Memphis, actually, he's been balling. This is decent value right here to go ahead and get Larry Nance Jr. Actually, don't mind him at all. So look at that. Doing these videos definitely helps in regards to finding some value and things like that. Outside of that, I would also say Mike Conley, minutes. He's going to at least play about 20-ish, 25-ish minutes. Definitely, if you can get him to give you a pop game like what he did going up against San Antonio Spurs, that'll be pretty good value for him. I guarantee you he's going to be lower than low owned right there. Brooklyn Nets taking on the Miami Heat. I think Jimmy Butler really just being held out for trade talks. I 110% just really feel like that's what it is. That's why he is sick in regards to it. But if Jimmy's going to be out, over here on the Miami side, you got to look at Bam. You got to look at Tyler Hero. Those players right there. Terry Rozier would be another one that you could possibly take. But my interest really is going to be on the Brooklyn Nets. I like Ben Simmons, still sitting at 5,900. No Dennis Schroeder. He is completely, fully running the point guard position. And we know that he has upside to go ahead and get those rebounds and also assists that he's going to get. He's going to get downhill. He's going to get into that close enough to the basket. Bam, not to me. I don't consider Bam a rim protector by any means. Honestly, him and Ben probably about the same size out there on the court anyway. I do like the upside for 5,900 for Ben Simmons. Brooklyn Nets, they can definitely keep this game close if they're knocking down shots. It is going to be a grit and grind, like a very slow slug pace type game. But the upside for Ben Simmons, I do like that one right there for him in his position spot. Outside of that, really value wise, nothing popped and stuck out for me from that game right there. Outside of if Jimmy Butler is going to be out, then maybe I'll look towards like a Duncan Robinson. If I was to take anything from over there, I definitely do want to know if DFS is going to be out, because then whoever actually slides in and fills in for him, I would actually look towards that as well as a possible another play. Toronto Raptors taking on the New York Knickerbockers. Toronto is on the back end of a back-to-back. Like I said, they did play the Houston Rockets yesterday, so not really too interested in too much from Toronto because they are going up against a pretty good defensive team in New York. If you are buying into the hype of RJ Barrett and Anunoby, there you go. You could take that. I do think the matchup for Cat is literally barbecue chicken, chopped chicken, as you can see, 30th in regards to defensive ranking right there. Cat would be the main play that I would want to get from here, from this team. He's just been balling on a whole nother level. His rebounds, that's another prop that you can take. Cat for 12 plus rebounds. If you guys looking towards that, it should probably be more likely value over there on Prize Picks, because you know they're gonna have that as goblin. Matter of fact, let's pull up Prize. Yeah, so they got Cat sitting over here at 14. So definitely, of course, I do believe that he will actually go over that. And then, of course, the Goblin is sitting at 11.5. So Cat would be one I would consider in regards to rebounds, as long as he keeps himself out of foul trouble, unlike what he did the last game. It just literally pissed me off with that. But he's just been eviscerating these lines right here. So definitely the upside would be there for him, especially coming off of back-to-back for Toronto. I do see the upside being there, especially no Jakob out there, who is a pretty decent rebounder himself. But the upside for Karl-Anthony Towns, I do like that one right there for him. It would be something I would take. But Cat, definitely DFS-wise, 10-2 would be a stud that I would actually pay for, taking on a Toronto who, to me, does not have anybody that can truly guard him, especially the way that he's shooting three ball this year and everything, stretching the floor, and just, it's a different Cat in New York. New York Cat is completely different from Minnesota Cat, just hands down. And if you didn't understand that and didn't realize it, you should have watched the game where he went back to Minnesota and literally beat they ass, is the short way to just say it. Minnesota taking on Chicago. Whenever these two teams play, it seems like it's actually a decent game. Minnesota, of course, I'm not Minnesota, Milwaukee. Sorry about that. Milwaukee, they seem to find their stride over the last several games. Cup champions, fuck them, whatever. For me, on Milwaukee side, Giannis, as long as he's in, definitely, of course, 11-3. How can you go wrong with that? He literally has to keep them in the game if they're going to actually be able to win a game. Dame, if he is magically, which just blows my mind, now he has a calf injury. When he didn't have it, he was able to play through it for the cup. But now all of a sudden, calf injury, missing the last 3 games. Bullshit. I call bullshit, man. Yes, I'm fucking salty. I don't care. Whatever. But for me, Dame being out, of course, that means that we should see what's up buddy's name over here on Milwaukee, Torian Prince, Andre Jackson Jr., those guys should be inside the starting lineup, of course. Right there. Chris Middleton, if they decide to actually start him here, that would be interesting. He's, of course, is questionable ankle, but he should be able to play. Giannis should actually be back. With no Dame being out there, of course, Giannis' assists, all those things, they go up. You're facing against Chicago, who does give up a ton of assists to opposing teams anyway. So, Giannis, top of the list in regards to the studs that you actually want to play for today. Then, of course, you got to look on the other side. If you think that the ghost of Lopez Pass does come here again, which last game that he did play going up against the Chicago Bulls, he did go out there and have a pretty decent game. Coming down here, 35 minutes, he dropped 40.75 fantasy points on 21 real life points, a couple of rebounds, a couple of assists, and some defensive stats. So definitely don't mind looking to Brook Lopez as a GPP option. If Josh Giddey is out, then of course that is going to boost Ayo DeSumo, Kobe White. Those would be the guys you want to look to. I will say though, I do have a little bit of interest in Vucevic, who really has been playing decent ball over his last several games. 37, 42, 39, 35, 28 fantasy points in his last several games. And then if we come down here, last time that he did play going up against Milwaukee, 35 minutes, he dropped 39 fantasy points, so a fantasy point per minute, 8,300, decent spot for a center. I can't avoid it or ignore it. Over here for Los Angeles Clippers, taking on the Minnesota. Jesus Christ, I need to get these damn teams names down right. This is ridiculous. The Los Angeles Clippers taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm surprised that we have not played the Memphis Grizzlies at all yet for the year. But if Desmond Bane is going to be out, then I do think that's going to be a boost for Jaren Jackson Jr. I don't feel like the Clippers have anyone necessarily that can defend Jaren Jackson Jr. I do like his upside here at the 7,200 price tag. More shots should be there for him. With Desmond Bane being out, we do know that he can stretch the floor, knock down three ball, can play defense. As long as he himself also keeps himself out of foul trouble, he does have the upward trajectory to play 35-ish minutes. Definitely Ja should be getting some like Derrick Jones Jr. defense or something like that of that sort. I do think that the upside is there as long as he doesn't tweak his back again. Definitely something to look forward to. Outside of that, not too much interest in too much over here. Maybe this could be a decent spot for Edey, but Zubac, he definitely shows that he could be a problem for most centers. He's playing very aggressive this season. I think the upside could be there for him. And then, like I said, Derrick Jones Jr., he's going to be out there. He's going to have to play the minutes going up against Ja, things like that. In the starting lineup, if he's actually able to knock down his three-point shot, which he can go streaky, as long as he can actually get the minutes, I do like the upside for him as a possible sneaky, cheap play that honestly, Boomer Bust would let you be able to fit in a lot of players and things like that. Washington taking on my OKC Thunder. Of course, Washington, again, I feel like Washington plays decent ball. They're just still away from being away, pretty much. For me, Shea, J-Dub, both the guys definitely in contention to play. iHeart, I will put them above contention for both of those guys just because of his price tag and the upside that he brings in regards to getting the rebounds, the assists, also the points, double-double. Definitely go ahead and take that over on the books. I will take him for a double-double. You are going against one of the best matchup for opposing centers, Alex Sarr, Vucevic, all those guys. iHeart, easy day for him going up there against him, playing at least 30+ minutes a game. The rebound upside is there. Again, double-double. I would definitely take that for iHeart in this matchup and in the spot. And then, of course, 10, 11 points. He's been pretty consistent in all of his starts going up against him. As you can see, only two games right there that we have. Well, I guess we could say 3 games, technically 3 games out of all the starts he's had so far for OKC without a double-double. Upside definitely there for him. Love him here in the spot. If you think that Jordan Poole can go out there and recreate what Tyler Hero did going up against Thunder in regards to knock down 3-point shots, things like that, you definitely could consider Poole. But I do think this is going to be one of those times where we have Cason Wallace in the starting lineup along with Lou Dort, which is a double tandem of defense right there, just because Poole is in the starting lineup, and you don't necessarily have to put Dort on Poole. I do feel like that's going to be more of a queso matchup. I do believe Isaiah Joe will be coming off the bench in this game, and I don't mind Isaiah Joe. Again, Joe off the bench will be when I play him. Joe, if he starts, I don't want to mess with Isaiah Joe. Like, just it's not even worth it playing him. He loses his rhythm inside of the starting lineup, but this would be a good spot for him if he is coming off the bench. Outside of that, Champagnie, definitely someone I can consider. Bob Carrington, another one that you can consider over here from the Washington Wizards, but you are going up against the number 2 defense in the league. So really not too much right there sticking out for me. Portland taking on Dallas. If Luka is back, Luka Heel, he's questionable for Monday's match against Trailblazers. If he is back, then of course you could look to Luka. Coming off an injury though, I think he's going to be low owned coming off that injury. Now, if Luka's going to be out, of course we're going to be looking at Kyrie at 8,500. PJ Washington 6,600. Yes, but I will say the one that sticks out the most to me is Derek Lively, who has been balling over his last several games. 41.25 fantasy points, 29.75, 24, 29. This is something that I do want for Derek Lively in this price range. He's hovering right below that 6K price tag. We do know that him and Gafford, you know, they're the ones that split those minutes, but looks like Lively is getting more of the burn over Gafford in that time. Now, Gafford has been a pretty good fantasy point per minute producer when he is out there on the court, but I will say I do love the upside for Lively here. I do think that he can use his strength, his lob ability going out there against someone like DeAndre Ayton. Loving the upside here for him in this spot, and definitely would be something that I would rather take over playing Ayton or something like that. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. Breakdown right there. That was a mouthful and a lot. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy the content. Again, like I said, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel because I will drop my parlay builders for FanDuel and DraftKings over there on the YouTube Shorts after it is posted to the Patreon. So definitely check that out as well if you guys are looking for that. Hopefully, everyone has a good day. As you guys can see, dog walking around in the background. Good luck, everybody. Happy holidays. We don't have anything tomorrow. And then, of course, on Christmas, I am not too sure if I will be able to post anything except for on YouTube Shorts in regards to parlay plays and onto the Patreon because, of course, you got to spend time with the fam. So good luck, everybody. Peace.